Republicans selling out on taxes. That's what we'll talk about today. A bunch of Republicans, led by Cole, a congressman from Kansas, are talking about going ahead and passing, largely with Democratic votes, the extension of the low-end Bush tax cuts, the tax cuts on people making less than 200 or 250, and letting that be a fait accompli, and then going into a negotiation about everything else, spending cuts, tax increases on upper-income taxpayers, and so on. That would be a total disaster. It would be like getting rid of your hole card before you start the game. The threat, the lever that the Republicans have to force spending cuts and to hold down tax increases on everybody is the fact that without their votes in the House, you can't extend the tax cuts on 90% of the American people, 95% of the American people. And that political pain is what's stopping the Democrats from just going ahead and passing whatever they want. And now the Republicans are talking about surrendering that initiative. But let's put the tax fight in a broader context. There are two fundamental reasons for hanging tough, very tough, on rate increases on upper-income taxpayers. The first one is that they are the country's employers. 54% of the American employees work for subchapter S corporations, which are always individuals who are high-income individuals. They're really not. Their gross of their business is the gross of their income. And the guy who owns a local pizza parlor probably has a gross income of more than $250,000. That's not what he takes home to his family. It's what he takes into his business, pays his employees, pays everybody else, and then takes home a net taxable income of, a much smaller amount. So this tax would affect the pizza guy and will have a huge effect on employment in the United States. The second reason is that when Obama took office, the public sector in the United States was only about 33% of the economy, and he's now built it up to 39% of the economy, and he wants to take it into the 40s. If that happens, the United States will effectively become a socialist country. You cannot have a public sector of that size sitting in the middle of your living room and still have a dinner party. It takes up all the space in the room. And it's why the European economies are so sluggish, so prone to unemployment, so prone to recession, and have so little upward social mobility because they're basically socialist countries. And if Obama gets taxes to pay for what he's now paying for with borrowing, it will lock it in permanently. You'll never be able to get rid of it. And the United States will have permanently changed the public sector share of its economy from the low 30s to the low 40s, and nothing will ever be the same again. That's why it's absolutely crucial to hold the line on these tax increases. Now, having said that, it is vastly preferable to raise taxes by cutting deductions and by cutting various tax special benefits for various industries than to raise the income tax rate. Because ultimately, the income tax rate affects whether you get out of bed in the morning. I mean, if the federal government's going to take 55 or 60% of your income in taxes, counting state local taxes, counting Medicare tax, counting Social Security tax, you're just not going to do it. You're not going to invest. You're not going to take risks. You're not going to create jobs because you're not going to keep the money if it works. Whereas you can increase revenues by ratcheting back mortgage deductions and state and local tax deductions, the oil depletion allowance, some of the special real estate tax breaks. You can squeeze those and generate revenue without affecting the overall construct. That's why Romney's proposal was so brilliant, to eliminate a lot of those deductions and use it to cut the tax rate so that you actually incentivize people to go out and create jobs. And Obama's never going to do that. But at least let's be sure that he doesn't increase the tax rates. And let's be certain that before we go along with any tax increase at all, there are very significant spending cuts that take place. I've said this before and I'll repeat it. The Republicans should tell Obama the ratio is 3-to-1. We're not going to come up with a dime of tax increases until you come up with 30 cents of spending cuts. Put the onus back on him. Now, these positions are not lobbying Democrats, they're lobbying Republicans. So get in touch with your local Republican representative, congressman or senator, and tell him, number one, you don't want the tax cuts extended until they're extended for everyone. Number two, you want a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio of spending cuts to tax increases before they're approved. Thanks a lot for watching.